Hi guys, I'm going to apologise again for how I look. Today is like my face is a makeup free zone, and the reason being is I just got my lashes done, and if you guys can see it, I get my lashes done every 3 to 4 weeks kind of thing, and on the day that I get them done it's better not to put makeup on because it's difficult to wipe your makeup off when they're still kind of like fresh. Just leave them for at least 24 hours I think. So that was a bunch of pointless information if you don't want lashes, but hey. You learn something new every day, alright? So I've literally just put on some lipstick just to kind of make this face more bearable to you guys. But yeah. Okay, today's video is basically, because I've been getting quite a few questions following on from my videos. I told you guys I was going to do a breakup video soon, which I will. And all the other videos that I spoke about in my last video. But what today's video is, because I get this question so much. I get this question so much. Sean Connery 007. Sorry, I'm gonna shut up now. I get these questions so much, and it's I always talk about like red flags with guys, and when you're talking to a guy or you know getting to know a guy, what are the red flags that you should watch out for and kind of steer clear from and run away from basically. So I'm going to discuss those today. And hopefully you guys will well, maybe I don't know, take something from it maybe. I just want to just say one thing. Like, I've been seeing, you know, a lot of comments on my videos. Oh my god, you're gonna burn in hell for like leading girls astray. Look, my videos are not aimed at people who are perfect. Okay, perfect in that they would never talk to guys. They're sitting at home day in day out and not leaving their house, and you know, they don't need to find guys because their parents are going to find them guys, and they just don't, well, that's it. They just do not commit, they do not sin. My videos are not for these girls. And never in my videos have I ever promoted dating or you know, whatever it is. This is if you do that anyway. We try to kind of turn a blind eye to the fact that we have so many Muslim girls, you know, be it girls wearing a scarf, girls not wearing a scarf, that, you know, engage in these non-halal relationships. And they have no one to guide them because we're just telling everybody that. We're like, oh yeah, it doesn't happen because it's haram, it's haram. Like, so where do these girls turn to? They turn to their friend, their non-Muslim friend, or who do they turn to? Okay, so my videos are aimed for those girls to give them a tiny bit of guidance, because I've spoken to so many people in my time, and like, tell you what, if I don't speak to people, they go, what the hell are we doing? Like, seriously? Tell you what, you know, you can call me a hoe or whatever it is you want to call me for that, but I'm sorry, there's absolutely I don't feel there's anything wrong with getting to know people for the purpose of marriage. And obviously along the way I've met people that was not their intention, and what I've learned from those experiences I would rather share to other girls so that they kind of avoid them from the get-go. Like, all these red flags I chose to ignore because I was already invested, my feelings were already invested in these relationships, if you like. We'll call them relationships, they weren't really relationships, just getting to know people. But my feelings were already invested, so I kind of had to ignore the red flags. So you don't want to be in that point. You want to pick up the red flags early on so that you can leave before your feelings are invested, where it's easy for you to leave. Not where you're that girl that just keeps taking the bollocking and the bullshit from the guy and you're like, oh no, oh, I love him, I love him. Anyway, so red flag number 1. If he's secretive, okay? I mean, it's really self-explanatory. If the guy is very secretive about his life, that's literally a no-go. Generally, it's not a good sign, and I'll tell you why. Generally, it means that this guy has something to hide, either from you or he's hiding you from his family. Because like, if you think about it, guys nowadays, like in this day and age, like pretty much even Muslim families, the guy has a girlfriend and his mum knows about it and it's cool. Can you imagine if the parents found out that this girl, their daughter, had a guy that she was talking to? Well, she would get shipped off on the first plane to Pakistan to marry a cousin. Like, what the fuck? But for the guy, it's okay, it's like whatever. Even if it's like a non-Muslim girl, like, they're happy though. Like, not happy, but they just put up with the shit because it's like, oh, the youngest son, or it's like the oldest son, or it's the son, full stop. So I'm not promoting like having these relationships or talking to guys, but I'm just saying, like, where haram is haram, let's just make it more universal. Let's not just say it's more haram for a girl to be talking to a guy than it is for a guy to be talking to a girl. So it's all haram. I mean, let's not sugarcoat one side because of its gender, but anyway. So he's always trying to hide it from either or. And in that sense, A, if he's trying to hide you from his family, most likely he's not really serious about you. And B, if he's trying to hide his family from you, he might be hiding a wife or a fiance or whatever it is. Example, I used to speak to someone, it went on for quite a while actually. I found out the red flags started coming up, but I realised they were really, really red. The flags were very, very red in colour, like they were crimson, when a couple of months in. But by that time, because me being 0 to 100 and I catch feelings really quickly sometimes, not sometimes, all the time, I was already like, my feelings were a bit invested, so I've kind of found it very difficult to fully let go. And when I say I find it difficult to fully let go, in that he ended up like, towards the last like 6, 7 months, 8 months even, he would call me once a month. And I'd pick up, knowing who it was. Even though he used to call me on private. I still used to pick up, knowing who it was. And I'd entertain him for that, however long that phone call was. And his red flag was this. Once I was chilling with him a few months in, we were sitting down and he took my phone. Well, I'm like being the trusting, like hopeless romantic that I am. I'm like, yeah, you could check my phone, I've got nothing to hide. It takes my phone, all the pictures that he's ever sent me of himself, he deleted. And all the screenshots that I've grabbed of snaps that he sent me, deleted. He deleted every single trace of his face off my phone. I mean, that was itself so dodgy. I was like, I should be really worried, but like, it's cool. That's fine. I'm sure there's a reasonable explanation. That's what happens to you when you caught feelings. Like, you will literally make the most unreasonable of scenarios reasonable in your head. Like how, I don't know, but you do it. So that was the point that I was like, yeah, something's not really right. So that's what I was like, you know what, something's not really right. You're gonna have to tell me, do you have a wife? Do you have a fiance? What is it? Like, this is just way too shady. And he kept denying it the whole time, of course. But in the end, I was like, you know what, no, there's something here that feels so wrong. So I'm just going to quit while I'm ahead. So I cut off all contact with him, blocked him. I've spoken about this person in my How to Be Obsessed with How to Make a Guy Obsessed with You video. And this guy kept calling, or kept making rather, Snapchat accounts, new Snapchat accounts every month, re-adding me. Sometimes 2, 3 in a week. Literally got to the point where he's made 10 Snapchat accounts, and each Snapchat accounts was a message. Like, he'd say something to me, like he'd the message would be like in Arabic, I miss you. That was his username. So it was just really like a lot of friggin' mind games. But anyway, so, and I would obviously, because I had feelings, so I would like accept the invitation or whatever it was, or just like entertain it, acting like I don't know who it was, but really I know who it was. And they're like, oh, and once I realised it was him, I was like, no, I'm not talking to you, like, bye, block again, and the same thing would happen again. Anyway, after all of that, he'd call literally once a month. Okay, and this is what I didn't get. And you guys think, oh, you know what, you know, fuck boys, they only want one thing. No. I swear to God, like, fuck boys have developed, and they've evolved. Fuckboys have evolved in ways you will never ever understand. And I don't understand. He used to call me once a month. The phone call, and this was for about 5, 6, 7 months he did this. Each phone call was about an hour to an hour and a half long. The phone call never ever once headed to a sexual manner. Never ever asked me for anything. You know, never wanted anything. He would literally talk to me about how my life was going. How's my daughter, how's family, how's my friends? Like, just ask me about my life. Like, you just sat there, you're like, I know you're a fuckboy, but like, why are you being so like nice and like interested in my life, in my normal life? Like come on, it takes friggin' effort. Eventually came to a point where I was like, you know what, dead this. Do you know what, I was lucky in that I made when I got together with my fiance, I made it quite public. So all these random people, and there was not just him, there was lots of people that they just linger. They're just lingering in the air. It's like, leave me alone, but they don't leave you alone. Like, thankfully they had an ounce of decency in them, because when I kind of announced that I was engaged, they all kind of dropped off the radar, which is great, which is what you want, kind of thing. You don't want them to be like, actually come back. They're like, you know what, she met a guy who's obviously serious about her, so I'm gonna not ruin that for her, which I'm grateful for. Second sign is he's only talking to you at a certain time of the day, i.e. nighttime. Get a wife. Run. Yeah, Anything that's time restricted, avoid. Third thing is if you're, by the way, these are just off the top of my head, they might not have any chronological order, they might not even make sense to some people, but I hope they do. But in furtherance of me trying to make more videos more frequently, and basically doing them as soon as I get home, whatever, and not really planning them so much, just talking off the top of my head, so just bear with me. Okay, so the other thing is, if you start talking marriage, everyone says to me, oh, like, what are the questions? Because I always say talk about these direct questions that I throw really early on. Look, there are lots of girls that do this. I'm one of these girls. They'll throw the shittiest aspects of themselves into the relationship really early on. So they'll just tell this guy all the shitty stuff about themselves. Not like shitty where you become unattractive, but shitty as in your bad habits and things. And like you'll throw strops or whatever it is, you'll show him the worst of you early on. And the reason being is you do that, like insecure girls do this, and I'm one of these people. You'll do it to kind of see how much this guy can take and if he'll stay at the end of it. Because once he stays at the end of it, you kind of become rest assured this guy isn't going to leave, which isn't really a guarantee. But in our heads, it's like, yeah, it's a guarantee. Like, he put up with all this shit, of course he's going to stay. But like I said, fuckboys have evolved, and now they're willing to put up with shit. If they can see you're breakable, if they can see there's a dot of insecurity inside you, they will stay. They'll stick around for months. Believe you me. They're just waiting for that minute that you drop the ball and you're just like that weak moment where you would let them in. So don't be fooled by a guy sticking around. Even though you're putting him through shit, that is not an indication. Don't, like, that used to be one of my most important indications until I met this person who literally stuck around through the shittiest of shit. Like, literally, most difficult I've ever been, he's stuck around. So that's not really a measure of anything. Next thing is, I think this is pretty foolproof. A guy that's a fuckboy would 100% run away from this. Look, guys, they can be the lowest of lows, but there's very, very few guys that are willing to meet your family, to let you meet their family if their intentions aren't right. I mean, like, if you get those guys, you literally got the bottom of the barrel. Like, literally go, like, hit your head against the wall right now, because what is your taste in men if you're choosing these guys? Like, seriously, just go for women. At this stage, go for women. I think it's harder for you to go for women if you're literally going for guys like that. But back to the more important point, it's very, very little. Like, you will not, I don't think any girl would experience a guy who's willing to meet your family, i.e. your parents, and is willing to introduce you to his family, i.e. his parents and his family, and is not serious about you. So my kind of foolproof method is kind of throwing it early on, like, what is this? Where is it going? When are we planning to meet the parents? When do you want to meet my parents? You know, what are your, like, time-wise, what are your plans? Like, when do you plan on getting engaged? When do you plan on getting engaged? When do you plan on getting married? When are you ready? Are you ready to get married now? Like, things like that. Look, at the end of the day, look, I'm sure lots of girls are. I'm just self-destructive in nature generally. The one time you should be self-destructive is with a relationship with a guy. Because look, at the end of the day, we can shit on this relationship. If this person, I always tell myself this, if this relationship is meant to, if God wants this, if this is heading the right direction and this is what God wants for me, this person will stay no matter what. I promise you, look, girls don't believe me when I say this. A guy, if he wants you, he will stay no matter what you do. I know. So, don't ever think, oh, I don't want to do this, it's going to put him off, I'm doing that. Be yourself. Stop not being yourself. When you're not yourself, you drop the ball, you drop your guard, and you start to accept bullshit. You start to accept the shittiest people, trying to make people like you. You start to accept the shittiest people because you start trying so hard to impress them, you forget about your own standards. Like, no, actually, on your own previous standards, you wouldn't even accept this bullshit. This excuse for a man you would not even accept. So why are you trying to not impress? Like, don't. This is why I always tell girls, do not be desperate to get into relationships. Your time will come. Even if you're like 28 right now and you're not with someone, your time will come. There are girls that are like 35 that get married to like people like especially now, like this generation, they're a bit more like, we're a bit more kind of open, we have more friends, and there are girls, like, honestly, they're decent people. I'm not telling you like these are like the unmarriables. at 35 will be bringing them a guy from back home. I'm not talking about them ones, which there are, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I'm just telling you, like, as normal girls, like you and me, there are girls that still find their, like, you know, Prince Charming or their soulmate at 35. Or 36 or 37. Like, do not sit here and fret. Like, don't sit here and think, shit, my time is running out. Look, it's not the most important. Yes, it's important, but it's not the most important thing in the world. Your health is important. Your family is important. You know, your learning, your intellect is important. I mean, what was the first word, you know, said to the Prophet? Iqra, read. Like, go start. Like, focus on your reading. Focus on studying. Focus on learning. Don't focus on finding a man. That is not the be-all or end-all, I promise you. And the minute you focus on trying to find a man, that is when you will find the wrong man. And even if you find what you think is the right man, he could then materialise into the wrong man through marriage. You might be in a marriage 2-3 years down the line thinking, I don't want to be here. Don't put yourself in that situation. What's meant to be for you will be. No one is going to take your qismah away from you. What God's written for you, no one's going to take that away from you. Nothing, no way that you act is going to take that away from you. God's written that for you, that's it. Halas, that's it, it's done. So don't search, don't go out and search for relationships. Same way, if you're getting to know someone, do not hide who you are. Do not try and give this person leeway to how they're acting just because you're trying to make them accept you and want you, and you're too busy doing that, you're kind of forgetting what you actually want in the relationship. You want a guy that's like this or like that, like, and you kind of start to forget about all these things because you're just too busy trying to make them fall in love with you. You can't force a person to love you. You can't force a fuckboy to turn into a husband. You can't do it. I think most girls get with fuckboys, or they start entertaining fuckboys because they think, oh, I'm going to be the girl that changes him. The fuckboy, if he's meant for you, he'll change to be with you. That's it. Like, don't sit here and waste your time. Don't put yourself in situations where you entertain the wrong guy and, you know, you sacrifice your reputation. You sacrifice, like, just parts of yourself for no reason. For the wrong man. Don't do that. Trust me, the best thing, like, my best advice to any girl, to any young girl who's sat there, a young girl or, like, older girl, whatever it is, or any single girl. My advice to any single girl out there trying to find a man is don't. Literally don't. No one said don't put yourself on dating apps. Go put yourself on the Muslim dating apps. Put yourself out there. Have the selection. Date. Honestly, like, people might think I'm a hoe for saying this and I'm such, you know, I'm Satan for leading the younger generation. No. Go on single dates. Put yourself out there. Single dates, in essence, actually, I'll tell you what they do, single dates. When I never used to go dating, I used to be a lot more insecure and I used to put up with a lot more shit. The more one dates that I went on, the more it made me secure about myself, the more I realised, shit, like, so many guys would actually really want to be with me. Like, all these guys that I'm dating, they actually want a second date. I'm not interested in them, so I'm going to leave it at that. But, you know, that was good for my self-confidence. That made me feel better about myself. That made me then not take the shit from all the other fuckboys I was talking to. That made me think, you know what, piss off. I'm not putting up this bullshit when I've got like 10 guys that want to actually be with me and actually, you know, take it further. I don't need this shit. So that, I think that was the point. So you know what, I'm all for Muslim, but you know what, with Muslim dating, I would also say I'm all for letting your family know, like, make sure your family on board, because I'm not going to sit here and encourage you to go do things behind your parents' back. But with me, I always, my parent, at least my mum always knew, or at least one member of my family always knew, whether it was my cousin, you know, whether it was whatever, someone always knew. It's just to be safe anyway. So I was always used to meet public places and just go on dates. Like, what's the worst that can happen? You go meet someone, you get a free meal. Oh dear. Like, seriously? You're not going to give anything of yourself. I mean, if you give something of yourself on the first date as a Muslim woman, okay, just write yourself off now. Like, seriously, you're not going to give of yourself anything. Sorry, like, am I really talking to the camera looking like this? I'm just like in awe, in shock at how ugly I'm like actually willing to look every single day. It's getting worse each day. Anyway, go on dates. Really, who cares? Go on dates. Go on single dates. I'm not saying start dating someone, because then obviously that's when it gets complicated. That's when you need to start throwing your questions in, like, where is this going? Let's meet the family. Anyway, back to that point. If you're telling that person, let's meet the family, and he's kind of like, oh no, like, oh, but I'm not ready, you know, I've got like, you know, I've got to do this first, and I've got to do that first, and bruv, I'm not asking you to get married and put a ring on my finger right now. I'll ask you to meet my parents. If he is not willing to do that, run, run, run. Seriously, run. What's that? Just run. I mean, with stuff like that, it also helps to have open-minded parents. I just hate the fact that parents aren't open-minded nowadays, because when your parents are not open-minded, you're more likely to hide things from them. And when you're more likely to hide things from them, you're more likely to make mistakes, and really big, massive mistakes. I've seen it happen. Like girls sleeping with guys, and like actual horror stories. Why? Because we didn't have a guy that's of our oldest, because they weren't understanding. Like, there was no way of me telling someone that I was talking to a guy, let alone seeing a guy. Like, that's just wrong. I'm sorry, God didn't want that either. God didn't say let's damn our kids just because they decided to talk to someone. It's happening. Whether you like it or not, it's happening. So what, do we ignore it? Do we turn a blind eye? Do we not advise these kids that are younger? Like, seriously, like, honestly, like, it actually makes my blood boil. These people are such hypocrites. You want to make the Ummah stronger, you want to make the Ummah a bit more religious and closer to Allah on your own terms. You don't think about these things. Like, these things are happening under your nose, and you're going to ignore them. You're going to focus on, like, on that girl's hijab, but you're not going to think about these girls that are actually talking to guys behind everyone's back, and because they have no guidance, they're doing big, massive mistakes with these guys. They're falling for the wrong guys. The wrong guys are taking advantage of them. And they're just putting themselves in so much haram, so much shit. Like, you can date and it not be haram. You can date in public, you can get to know someone and it not be haram. You are not stupid. We are all mature adults. If we were able to have this accepted, a bit more acceptable in our community, a lot of shit wouldn't happen. A lot of shit that happens there would not happen. Because if you're sat here watching this and you tell me you don't know at least one girl who has a boyfriend, Muslim girl that has a boyfriend, and she's not engaged and she's not married, you're lying. It happens everywhere. At least one member of your family or extended family has a boyfriend or a girlfriend. At least one member of your friends has a girlfriend or a boyfriend. It happens. Whether you like to pretend it's there or it's not there is not important to me at all. So yeah, I can get all the backlash in the world. Oh yeah, you're leading young girls astray. No, I'm not freaking leading young girls astray. I'm trying to advise young girls that are already in relationships how to, you know, notice the red flags of guys early on, to not fall in that trap of being tricked and fooled and taken advantage of by certain guys. But yeah, anyway. Any more red flags? Honestly, like, for me, the biggest test, if you're not sure, like, red flags will be different in every guy. They might be the same in lots of guys, they might be different in other guys, but there's one thing for sure. If you're asking for parent meetings, like, let's introduce our friend, I want to introduce you to my mum, or I want to introduce you to my sister, or my uncle, or my aunt, just one person in your family, that's a bit more, you know, if your parents are very, very kind of against it, a bit more like open to it. Like, you might have a cool aunt that's just like, you know what, yeah, I'll meet him, or she just feels really like, kind of like, she feels really privileged that you selected her and she'll just go do that thing for you. But just someone as like an elder, one elder, that you tell him, I want to introduce you to this person. Just see what his reaction is. So yeah, that's my bit of advice. And if he's completely reluctant, he's giving you excuses, and please don't take this bullshit excuse, girls, just promise me one thing. You know, you'll always remember one thing. If a guy wants you, he will do anything. He will move mountains to be with you. Just remember that. There is no instance where a guy, and I don't care how much shit I get over this, but I know this, there is no instance where a guy wants to be with you, will make excuses, and those excuses be real. And I've seen it happen, whether it's to me or someone else around me. I've seen it happen so much. I've seen guys literally move mountains to be with one girl. And then I've seen girls who the guy tells them that he loves them, But they're literally, the girls are changing themselves and going bending over backwards, giving parts of themselves away, parts of their reputation, parts of their shut off. I don't know how to say shut off in English. Their modesty, they're giving parts of their modesty, either whatever, they're sending pictures of themselves, they're giving actual parts of themselves. Not like actually give parts, but you guys try and understand what I'm trying to say. And the guy is like acting like, oh yeah, I love you, but I can't right now. Just be careful out there, girls. It's a world full of fuckboys ready to fuck us over. But yeah, just be careful. Just don't be stupid. Don't be dumb. That's it, just don't be dumb. At the end of the day, as a girl, all you want is a guy to get to know you at face value with the best of intentions. And not have it in the back of his mind that he's going to fuck you over and he's not going to marry you. That's the goal, right? So that's what I will try and help girls achieve and distinguish between in my videos, I guess. Because Lord knows, in getting to know people, I've spoken to my fair share of butt boys. Butt boys? Like what? 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 To fuck boys or duck boys. But yeah, I hope you guys have learnt one or two things from this video, and if you already knew them, I hope they were reinforced to you to remind yourself you're stuck in a relationship similar to ones that I've been talking about. I hope it kind of just wakes you up and think. I hope it's your light bulb moment where you're like, you know what, I'm not going to put up with this shit anymore. Because you don't. Do not put up with this shit. Honestly, the right guy will come to you. Whatever guy you're with now that you think you can't get a better guy that you love as much or who will love you as much, I promise you you're wrong. If this person's showing red flags, you need to run while you can. If you're in a position where you can run with no collateral damage, then you're actually lucky, and run. Just test your man. That's all we're asking. Test your man to make sure he's serious. Because we're not in this position where we can start doing all this haram and being in these relationships and dating, and the guy doesn't even want to marry you. There would have been not a chance in hell that I stayed with my first husband, then boyfriend, whether I like it or not, he was a boyfriend. I would not have, if I had not kind of like prepped him early on, knowing that he was actually going to be serious about marriage. He was. You know, same with my late husband. I literally said to him, he's like to me, I remember exactly how it worked out actually. He said to me, he goes to me, I want to meet your mom. He said to me, I want to meet your mom. And he was saying it in a very like, because he's been raised around English people his whole life and not around the Islam and like cultural things. So he didn't really know what to do. He didn't know that was actually a big deal to meet my mom. So he goes, I want to meet your mom. And I was like, well, I'm sorry, I can't just bring any boyfriend to my mom. Like, it doesn't work like that. My mom will literally kick me out of the house. Like, what do you think this is? And he goes, okay, what do I need to do to meet your mom? Like, that's how you know the person's a decent man. What indecent man that wants to fuck you over is going to want to meet your family? So I said to him, well, we need to do something a bit more official, like, I don't know, nikah. He's like, let's do it. That is a story of how I got married and I had my nikah in 10 days of meeting this guy. Obviously I wouldn't have said yes if I wasn't like madly in love with him, but a story for another day. But yeah, so, and then obviously the third, that my fiance, I pretty much prepped him early on what's going on, like what's going to happen, you know, when are we going to get engaged at least, blah blah. He said to me, if you want to get engaged, it was a Friday, I've said this before, it was a Friday, because if you want to get engaged on Monday, I'll book the sheikh for Monday, for the nikah. So I thought, that's good enough for me, but let's just wait now. Because we all know I then went on to break up with him, so it was a good thing we didn't do that. 3 divorces under my belt, well not 3 divorces, 2 divorces and 1 death under my belt. No thank you very much. But yeah, anyways, so hope you guys have learned anything, something, I don't know what, of this video. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and also turn on post notifications so you find out. And I think I'm kind of uploading quite frequently. Wouldn't you agree? So to find out what my next video is, just turn post notifications on. But yeah, and give me ideas as well of any videos that you guys want to see from me. Thank you guys, bye.